Hi, everyone out there. Michael Crow, president of ASU. I just want to describe to all of you that as online students through ASU, you are linked up with one of the most significant research universities in the world. We've really evolved this institution in the last few decades into being a world-class research university with thousands of faculty members, as you'll hear from Provost Gonzales, who are dedicated to knowledge creation, knowledge synthesis, knowledge analysis, knowledge storage, and most importantly for all of you that are online, knowledge transfer. And so we've built a university around discovery and creativity and research and scholarship, and then found a way with our technologies to empower our faculty to be able to teach across the world with students in hundreds of degree programs across thousands of courses. And so ASU is about 150,000 degree seeking students, about half of which are on campus with us in what we call full immersion, and about half of which, like you all, are digital immersion, working with our faculty and our educational materials and our educational assets in a new way, in an asynchronous way. We've been fully operational through COVID. We have over 70,000 students on campus this semester. We lost our basketball game last night to the University of Arizona, but 2 days before that, beat the University of California at Los Angeles, who was ranked number 3 at the time in our basketball game here on Saturday night. So we've been having a lot of fun in sports and a lot of things that are going on. And so the faculty are fully engaged, the staff of the university are fully engaged, and the ASU Online team, who are geniuses of the universe, they have figured out how to take all the things that we're doing at the university and to create learning environments for our ASU Online students. We've got online students coming in from everywhere. We've got more online students than we've ever had, not just because of COVID, but because of the fact that it is now possible to gain access to an American Research University faculty and an American Research University degree, which is a premium pathway to your educational success, a premium degree, a premium educational opportunity. And so we're very excited about you all. One of our core principles from our charter is that we're a university based on inclusion versus exclusion, and the measurement of the success of our students as a measurement of the success of our institution. And so we've taken everything that we have, all the creative energy that we have, all the pedagogical, that means how you design the courses and everything, all the pedagogical energy that we have. We've brought all of that together to create unique learning opportunities for all of you that we're very, very excited about. And you all are very important to us. You're a way in which we are attempting to be of greater service to students, greater service to families, greater service to communities, greater service to the public overall. And so we are advanced on one objective, and that your online learning experience will prepare you for anything that you want to do: a new job, a new career, a new pathway, being a better citizen, being a better community leader, being a better parent, whatever it is that you are pursuing your degree for. We are designed and are continuing to design ourselves to be of the greatest service to you. In the United States, there's thousands and thousands of colleges and universities, and Arizona State University for the last 7 years has been designated as the most innovative university in the country. And what that means, or why we get that designation, is that we figured out how to be of greater service. We have figured out how to use technology in new ways. We figured out how to embrace teaching and learning outcomes across the entirety of a person's life, not just when they're 18 or 19 and have the opportunity to go to college. And so we see there are huge benefits in attending ASU through our online programs. The outcomes in the marketplace are fantastic for our ASU Online graduates, and ASU Online degree produces a market opportunity. That is, the value of the degree is equal to the value of the degree for an on-campus student. The online students tend to be a little bit older, not all, but most, and so they come in with more maturity and more life experience, often some previous educational experience also, which gives them a way to advance. And the other thing that I'll say, maybe as my last point, that old persons like myself, we've seen the rate of change accelerating in our lifetime. So much so that it's going like this. It's very steeply curved right now, meaning the rate of technological change, the rate of social change, the rate of cultural change, the rate of economic opportunity, the changing of the economy, the changing of what's the nature of work, the nature of jobs, where you work, how you work, what you do. All these things are morphing, and ASU Online is designed to help you, your family members, people that you know, friends and others, with basically preparing yourself for these changes so that you can take full advantage of them, so that you can be a full participant in the new economy and the new structures that are evolving. So I think maybe I'll stop there, but just add one other thing, and that is, as you're moving through your degree programs, as you're advancing with ASU Online, as you encounter bumps in the road or difficulties or issues, always make certain, and I say this to all of our students here on campus, raise your hand, let us know. Tell us what you need. Tell us what kind of help you need. Tell us if your economic circumstances have changed. Let us know. If you're in need of more help, maybe we have some pathways for you to find a pathway to understand math a little bit better, or psychology a little bit better, or economics a little bit better, or what have you. And so just always raise your hand and be asking us how we can be helpful. So with that, Leah, I'll turn it back to you so you can introduce Provost Gonzales.
Thank you, Dr. Crow. I'm also very inspired by everything ASU has going on that helps us serve online students and all students and improve our communities. So next I want to introduce Dr. Nancy Gonzales, the provost of the university, who also has a few remarks.
Hello, thank you, Leah. And hi, my name is Nancy Gonzales, and I'm Executive Vice President and University Provost at ASU. This means that I'm the leader of all things academic at ASU, and I have a fabulous team of people working with me, including your team at EdPlus and ASU Online, as well as all of the colleges and schools that teach your courses. I love this opportunity to have some time with ASU Online students who I would normally not see until I see you at graduation. You are such an important and growing part of our ASU community. You are a source of pride for us, and we want you to know that we are here to do all that we can to find your path and help you succeed. I hope you're having a great learning experience with us so far, those of you who have started, and some of you may just be new to our community. I want to emphasize what President Crow said. If you need anything from us at any time, please do raise your hand. I also want to emphasize how much our faculty are committed to your success. We do have a very creative and fabulous faculty at ASU that we're very proud of, and we do online education in a different way compared to other universities. As you probably know, at ASU, it is the same faculty designing, teaching, delivering your courses as those that teach in person. They're the same faculty engaged in the knowledge creation that President Crow was just describing. So this makes our faculty better. They have to stretch and they have to learn more about how to teach their content and meet learning outcomes in multiple modalities. This comes back to their in-person teaching as well, which improves the teaching for everybody and really increases the value of an ASU degree for everybody. So I'm very proud of what we're doing for all of our students, and very proud to call myself your provost. Back to you, Leah.
Thank you so much, Nancy. So now the best part. I want to introduce, or actually I'm going to have them introduce themselves, because both of them have absolutely impressive backgrounds, are really your advocates. They are part of our student governments for both undergraduate and graduate. So I'm going to ask you guys to do a little bit of a quick introduction of yourselves. Then I'm going to drill you with just a couple of questions before I hand it over to you to ask more questions that our students have for the leadership panel we have today. So first, I'm going to hand it to Rehab Meckawy. Please tell everyone a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. So this is Rehab from Egypt. I'm majoring in international health management, and I'm also the graduate senate leader and the chair of government operations committee at Online Student Government Advocacy Group. And yeah, I have reached my final semester and I can't wait to graduate.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. No idea what time it is there, but I have a feeling it's in the wee hours of the morning. So thank you so much. And Jeffrey, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jeffery Pendleton. I am in my last semester as well, and I'm studying anthropology, the new Bachelor's of Science that's offered online, and I'm joining you from Washington, D.C. I am the founder and president of the Undergraduate Anthropology Association Online at ASU, and I'm also the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court for the uh, online student government advocacy group, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we just absolutely both have been so involved and helped take a lot of our student clubs, organizations, and government to the next level. Because I believe last year we just barely announced that they were coming about. So we've come a long way over the last couple of years, and I know your leadership has contributed to that. So I have a couple questions for you guys because you both have such different backgrounds. I'm going to start with you, Rehab. Tell us a little bit more about your experience of getting enrolled as an international student and what that was like for you.
Yeah, so like it's amazing. It's a life-changing experience. I got granted the AGFE scholarship, which is Abdullah Al Foundation for Education Scholarship. I was connected immediately to an academic advisor, just like any other ASU student. I consult her whenever, like, which class should I enroll? Is it the right time? This semester is correct, or will I have any unexpected conflict with my plan of study? So once I get the confirmation, I just like plug into my ASU profile, click the class research button, and that's it. So the enrollment process is so easy and straightforward. Even when I take elective classes from another universities that ASU are in partnership with, it is the same process. All are done within my ASU profile. So like it's a straightforward.
Wow, you do make it sound easy. And a shout out to the enrollment coaches and all the work you do to help support our students on coming in. I know it can be a bit daunting, either coming back for a program or starting a new one. So thank you for that. So Jeffrey, you know, you do have a unique degree that you're going after and a unique set of experiences. What are some of the opportunities for students who might be globally focused?
Sure. So in most cases, as a comparative to my own experience, my status as an online student gave me sort of more opportunity to practically apply my education every day than I might have as a more traditional or in-person immersive student. As an ASU online student with this flexibility, I've tried to make the most of my education, in my case, anthropology, at a global scale. First, I've been living 8 to 10 hours ahead of AZ time. So that gave me the flexibility to more easily schedule individualized instruction courses with faculty and professors for a more specialized knowledge in areas of interest within my field. That was a cultural evolution course with Dr. Thomas Morgan with the School of Human Evolution and Social Change, and Dr. Nina Behrman, the director of the School of International Letters and Cultures in Interculturelle Hermeneutik. And then while living abroad in Europe, I also had the chance to firsthand observe the intricate cultural, linguistic, and behavioral systems that we go over in anthropological courses. And depending on the course, and should a specific cultural site or practice be mentioned, I could hop on a cheap flight or a train, go visit, experience it myself. Third, I've been able to strengthen my linguistic fluencies in my languages that I already speak and then develop more. I'm a bit of a polyglot and speak quite a bit. And another really great opportunity to supplement my ASU education that other people could take advantage of when abroad. Local universities around you, plenty of them will allow you to audit courses, sit in on courses, and gives you a nice international perspective, allows you to network with people within your discipline at other universities. And along the way, you meet a few Sun Devils. I've met a few Sun Devils abroad, working in different businesses, in cafes, at other universities, and as grad students. It's been a wonderful experience.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It doesn't seem to matter what corner of the globe you go to, you meet Sun Devils. And so it's definitely something like you wear that hat or that shirt and they will call you out no matter where you're at. And I also really respect how much you have taken your learning into real life, right? So, and I think that's something that being an online student affords you is how you apply your learning in your everyday life and your experiences to make the most of it and really enrich yourself. Really appreciate the background both of you gave and me asking you a couple of questions. Let's bring up the entire panel. I need to introduce Dean Philip Regier, who is the founding dean and CEO of EdPlus and ASU Online, And then myself, I am Leah Lommel. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here running ASU Online and basically just working with the university and the amazing people who provide services for our students. So we are very honored to be here. And now I'm going to stop and Rehab, Jeffrey, you have the floor. Ask us the questions the students sent. We're ready.
Sure, thank you so much. So the first question we have is for Dean Regier. So how can prospective students access scholarship at ASU? Or in other words, how we can make higher education more accessible and affordable for everyone?
Thank you, Rehab, and to all the students out there, I just want to thank you so much for joining this, and I hope you find it a great and productive experience. We would be, if you're a prospective student, we'd be honored to have you, and if you're a current student, I'm so glad that you joined ASU and ASU Online. First off, let me start by talking about how we can make higher education more accessible and affordable for everyone. You know, ASU Online was really formed with the idea of providing access to a university education for people who are older. Maybe they've started before, started, and they hit a certain point in their life and they realized the importance of having an undergraduate degree, and they always realized it. But in fact, for many people, life happens, and for a variety of reasons, you don't start at 18 and end at 23 all the time. And so what we're trying to do is provide an opportunity for people to have a choice about, and a high quality choice about attending a public research university that is rigorous, that is founded around the concept of a faculty core that is responsible for both the creation and dissemination of knowledge. And in every way, we want to make the online experience accessible to as many people as possible. And we want that experience to be in every way equivalent. It might be different, but we want the outcomes to be equivalent to what would happen in a face-to-face campus. And I think in that regard, among large online universities, we're unique. There are many other online universities that have a different view of the way online should work, and it's alternative. It's not necessarily the best alternative relative to the face-to-face campus, but we're different. As the provost said, same courses, same program, same degree. If you get a degree from ASU Online in history or psychology or biochemistry, it says you got a degree from ASU in history or biology or biochemistry or whatever it might be. It doesn't say that you got an online degree. And that's important because the learning outcomes are the same. The modalities are different. So first off, in terms of access, that's what we're all about. In terms of affordability, you know, I'm gonna state the obvious to anybody who's out there price shopping. We are not competing to be the cheapest program in the country or the least expensive program in the country. What we are competing to be is the best program in terms of student outcomes. And I think that if you compare, we will win that every time. And I can point you to some objective data. Georgetown University has a fantastic center on education in the workforce, where you can look at their measures of the return to different programs, and you'll find that the return to ASU Online is very high relative to many of the other online programs. And so in terms of affordability, we're always trying to keep the costs as low as we can, but at the same time understand what our focus is on is having the best possible return over a lifetime of education. You know, we want your education to return over an entire lifetime. We're trying to offer the highest quality public research-driven university education that you can find. In terms of the scholarship question, again, it's a really good question. It's a very timely question too. We're beginning to provide increasing levels of scholarship for online students, so it's a really good question. There is a scholarship site that you should start with, which is scholarships.asu.edu. That's a great place to begin. And then the other thing I'd say is if you're a prospective student, talk to your enrollment coach and they can explain the process that you need to go through to apply for a scholarship. If you're already here at ASU, you can talk to your success coach and they can assist you as well in understanding how you apply for a scholarship and what scholarships are available. So again, Rehab, thank you a lot for the question. It was a great one, and I'll turn it back to you. Or Jeffrey, I'm not sure who's next.
Hi, it's me now. And actually, the next question is also for you, Dean Regier. Does ASU have any plans to make the online environment more interactive than it is in its current state, so as to keep up and maintain its status as the best online education available?
Yeah, that's again, it's a great question. And I'll just say, when I look at where we started 10 years ago and the tools and the processes and the technologies we had available to us then and where we are now, it is night and day. And so we are constantly working, what we say about online education, basically, what we always say is to be good, and this is true whether you're online or on campus, to be an effective educative course, you have to be able to engage students, and you have to be able to engage them in three ways. They have to engage with the course content, they have to engage with the course faculty, they have to engage with their peers. And if you can create engagement across each of those three modalities, each of those three dimensions, you're going to have a really good course. 10 years ago, we didn't have the type of tools that would allow great interaction between faculty. There was great interaction with the content, great engagement with the content, but we've constantly gotten better with faculty engagement. And now, over the past 3 or 4 years, the peer-to-peer tools that are available to create interactivity with students is outstanding. So we have built over the past decade about 3,000 courses. Every time those courses are taught, we review them. We have a quality analysis group that reviews the course every time they're taught. And we're constantly looking at upgrading, at changing the courses, at making them more interactive. Right now, we have a whole project around math courses. It's called Operation Math, designed so that that college algebra course isn't going to be the reason that you aren't a physical science major, or that college algebra course isn't going to keep you from being a major in exercise physiology, for example. The other thing I'll say, Jeffrey, is we're constantly expanding the type of courses that we provide. And so, again, this gets to this idea that we're a real university, and we want to make those options available to online students. So if you were an on-campus student at ASU, I think, and the provost knows, you can probably select from 400 majors. Is that right, Nancy, roughly? 400 majors, something like that.
400 right? Undergraduate, 450 graduate.
There you go. So 500 undergraduate, 450 graduate. Now, we couldn't go from 0 to 450 overnight, but we're constantly adding. We're adding 30 or 40 majors a year. For example, this year, we added a major in data science. We added a major in forensic psychology. We added a major in mechanical engineering. There is not another ABET accredited mechanical engineering degree in the country. And that's in addition to the biochemistry degrees, the physics degrees, the chemistry degrees, the business degrees that we offer, and the sociology degrees, family and human development. And so we're constantly trying to add to the major so that online students have as bountiful a choice to choose from as on-campus students. And then the other thing we're always doing is, as new technologies come into play, we're always revising those courses to add more dimensions for engagement for the students between each other, between the faculty, between the content. Thanks for the question, Jeffrey.
Thank you so much. That was a great answer.
So our upcoming question is for President Crow. President Crow, if possible, will ASU Online ever grow to the point that online and in-person classes can be interchangeable?
Well, I think, Rehab, that's an important question. And I think what you're going to see happen along the way is that we're moving into a third modality, something that we call ASU Sync, where there will be some degree programs that will be offered for a student like yourself that's in Egypt, but you come in live in a simultaneous modality, synchronous modality. I think one of the things that we're hoping to do for students that are in the online asynchronous modalities is have more access to live activities at ASU, events, speakers, sports, all the other things that make up the university, as well as live access to other students and faculty, which are beyond the classroom situation. And so the answer is we're working to evolve those things. We're open to suggestions and recommendations and requests, but those are all things in motion. Some of those things, maybe Leah could comment on this. Some of those things are already in place. And our plan is to evolve more and more going forward, as well as, and Provost Gonzales could comment on this, and that is more and more what we call ASU sync degrees, which will be a way in which we'll be talking like we're talking right here in the classes. And so all those things are going on at the same time. So very good question.
Perfect, thank you.
I think the one thing that I would add, since you mentioned my name, I'm going to take some liberties to jump in here, is it's not just the experience of how maybe traditional campus, online, sync can blend. I think increasingly all of those experiences that campus students may have had are at the fingertips of online students. And that includes the ability to take on graduate positions, research assistantship, working with faculty. We hire inside of EdPlus online students as student workers. So there's just a lot more that is something that we weren't necessarily in the position to do way back when we started. So it's not just about how students can kind of go between classes, but also taking advantage of so many other experiences at ASU, whether you're remote, online, or in person.
Including research labs
Correct.
and other things.
And travel abroad opportunities too.
Okay, back to you guys.
All right, so my next question is for Provost Nancy Gonzales. What are the plans to increase equity of resources for online students? That is, what resources might be on campus that we all also have access to, or like resources or programming, and what plans could there be to add additional resources?
Well, I think that the possibilities are limitless. And really, it's a matter of us understanding, and we're constantly realizing, oh, this is another piece of what we do on campus that could translate to our online population, and then trying to make that available. I think lab experiences are something that we're currently working to try to figure out, because a lot of the degrees that you're earning would benefit from a lab experience. So how do we make that happen? Honors participation in the Honors College is something we've tried to make available, and hopefully we're going to make that available to more people over time. Certainly access to counseling and health services is something that we're interested in, and also the student government and advocacy that you're participating in. But participation in, the activity of the university, which includes lectures, et cetera. And now that everybody went remote for a period of time, I think we're in a better place to be able to offer more of that. The other thing that we just added is that we do student awards at graduation. And we're going to start to include our online students in the group of students who are earning awards, because you're all just doing such fantastic things. So again, we'll keep thinking about it. If you have ideas, let us know, and we'll continue to build out that experience for you.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzales, and to all the students listening. Those job opportunities really are great. I've had 2 of them, and in my second one now, and the resources available are really great.
And Jeffrey, they must send you real money too.
Oh, they do send you real money. It's really nice, and it's easy to do as an online student. You get nice edification and connections with all these teams that you're working with.
Great.
Perfect. So our next question is for Ms. Leah. As ASU Online grows the alumni base, what steps is ASU taking to unite together the tens of thousands of alumnus across the world?
So many opportunities. I can't list them all here, but I first also want to remind everyone that as an ASU Online student, you have the same degree as any ASU student who may have received their degree in any other modality or format. So you are an alumni just like anyone else. You will get, and so I know that you thought you were done with ASU emails, but you will get emails inviting you to many ASU alumni events. And so we have a huge Sun Devil Nation. We already talked about how they're all over the world, but there are really fun things for alumni to engage in as well, like the Sun Devil Rewards program that's on the ASU mobile app. personally a favorite, and we do that is really popular with online students because you can get rewards with, you know, words of the day. They are not just event-based things, but we also have a lot of alumni events across the country and across the globe that you can find and connect with. And just a reminder, you stay connected for career services purposes and everything else. So there are so many ways of staying connected with the university and your fellow alumni, and also with your colleges and your major. They will have many alumni events based on your particular discipline. So there's just almost too much to mention, as I said, and just a great way to stay connected and have that affinity with people who have come, you know, great education university. So there is quite a bit there.
Leah, can I add one other thing that I think is important here? So as you know, when we think about alumni, we think, and I know for those of you who are contemplating either, you know, you're in school or you're contemplating returning to school, being an alumni seems a long way away. But, you know, the most important thing that I think is happening in terms of alumni is the notion of continuing education after you get a degree. And ASU is unique in the world in launching a complete component of the university called the Learning Enterprise that's focused on providing educational opportunity for people in terms of your continuing need to upskill and learn new skills as you move forward. President Crow alluded to the fact earlier that, for a lot of us, the pace of change is more rapid than it's ever been. And you can read the statistics. If you graduate when you're 28 or 30, you're going to have 5 or 6 or 8 different careers by the time you retire. And so you're going to have a constant need to continue to improve your skills. And I think as an ASU alumni, you're going to have complete access to the Learning Enterprise and all that it can offer. And I think, a lot of that is not for credit. But we also have a great slate of master's programs if you want to go back for a master's degree or a certificate. And I think that's a really important opportunity as well, to if you're an alumni, having access to that and understanding the university commitment to that type of education.
Thank you for that addition.
All right, so I have the next question for the panel. That is, in your view, what are the most pressing challenges for higher education today? And what is it that ASU is doing to tackle them?
Yeah, from my perspective, I'll take the macro level view. The most pressing challenge is to find a way for universities to engage the full breadth of human types of intelligence. We all learn differently. We have different types of intelligence. We have different mixes of the way that we think. We come from different cultures. We come from different families. We have different aspirations. We have different things that energize us. And so universities have been, in my view, overly factory-like. We can produce an excellent product that looks like this. And many people don't fit on that pathway. So how do we build a university which is very, very creative and is able to engage across the true breadth of human intelligence, the human spirit, human creativity, all those kinds of things? That's the biggest challenge, and that's what we're really focused on. Others might want to comment. So,
thank you, President Crow. If you want to comment, just feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, look, I'll just add on. It seems to me that in the U.S., where you have a tremendous number of students who begin higher education but then don't complete it, when you have a tremendous number of people who want to earn a degree but don't have access to it because because of the conditions of their life won't allow them to attend what I refer to as a brick and mortar university, I think of tremendous importance in the U.S. is simply being able to have high quality universities that are able to meet the demands for higher education in the country. And if there's a huge demand in the US that's not being met with an adequate supply, globally, you can quintuple that. If the demand for higher education is going to exceed 400 million people by 2030, there aren't nearly enough brick and mortar everybody can have access to education to enrich and enhance and improve their lives, we're going to have to figure out ways to do it other than having people, kind of have a singular mindset about attending a brick and mortar university between the ages of 18 to 23.
My immediate response when you ask that question is not unrelated, and to me it would be income and educational inequality, and the way in which that limits educational access for very subpopulations all over the world, and finding ways to overcome that barrier. And I think having an access mission like we do at ASU is part of how we begin to address that, as well as providing different modalities and access through online is helps us try to meet that. It's not enough, but it certainly it helps us move in that direction.
The only thing I would add is I do think that education is something that is seen as linear. And in higher education, making sure people see it as accessible at many different points, and that higher education isn't always just a degree. It's improving yourself, constantly learning and going after whatever you want next, right? Some of us may have a couple of degrees, but it doesn't mean we've stopped taking classes on nutrition or wellness. There's so many ways to better yourself. And I think higher education is something that can keep doing that. But also this question was for the panel. So I'm going to flip that back to both Jeffery and Rehab. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges in higher education today and how we can overcome them?
Okay,
I guess I could, Rehab, you go ahead.
No, please go on.
Honestly, I will think about my own experience in applying for PhD programs starting the next academic year. And I have applied to different schools around Europe, and whenever they see you're an online student, it's an interesting reaction. And then it's, what's the setup like? How are you examined? How's the content delivered? Then they go immediately into really discipline-specific vocabulary to try and get to you, to see if you know what you're applying for, to see if you have a strong enough background. And I really think as we move into a more modern, multimodal educational experience with increasing technology, this sense of getting away from the idea of online education as lesser, which I think ASU is really great at promoting. So yeah, that really getting away from this sense of online education as being lesser. And I think ASU's doing great things to do that. Like, we have these really immersive technologies. One of the jobs I've worked at was with the Learning Futures Collaboratory, which is tasked with creating really great new educational experiences that are really immersive, utilizing new immersive technologies, AR, VR, MR, and incorporating those into the educational experiences, making sure that you have these same opportunities to have an equivalent educational experience as your on-campus immersive counterpart, so that whenever you're on a Zoom meeting with the professor at Cambridge who's drilling you on anthropological facts, you're able to recall everything you need to know and schedule your next meeting to talk about your research proposal and future meetings and get through the application process and be treated like any other student.
Yeah, online students definitely persistence, don't they? Rehab, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a similar experience like Jeffery, since I have started applying for PhD as well. But whenever like I feel people are commenting as the time my degree is online, I always emphasize like distant learners, they have this sort of flexibility and self-discipline, especially by online like modality, you have the privilege of accessibility. So for myself, like my major is international health management. So if I'll be based on a single country, I will not have the experience that will open the door for me to be able to tackle any problem within health systems all over the world. So yeah, I keep on emphasizing like distant learner reflects a self-disciplined person and who has been like has the privilege of accessibility.
Thank you, guys stated that extremely well. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, President Crow. I know you have to run. Rehab and Jeffrey, if you have more questions, I'm going to give you a second, but I do want to note that I am seeing a lot of questions in Q&A, which we have a wonderful team of people answering everyone specifically. A lot of questions around your specific scenario of needing a scholarship. And so please not only reference some of the tools we've suggested, the scholarships.asu.edu, but also contact your enrollment counselor. They will also help you work with someone in our financial aid office. You know, we understand that every student is different. And so there are literally thousands, tens of thousands of scholarships out there that we want to help connect everybody with to find the right opportunities for them. So I just want to address that generally because I saw so many questions on that with specific scenarios. So Jeffrey, Rehab, any other questions that you can think of to ask Nancy, Phil, or myself, or any other tidbits you'd like to share with our online learners?
Can I respond to something Jeffrey said, by the way? Jeffrey and both Jeffrey and Rehab are talking about this notion that when people find out they have an online degree and they're applying to graduate school, that they have some barriers put up, right? For the first time, and I think outside the US, frankly, it's even worse than it is inside the US. Over time, inside the US, people have come to accept online education as equivalent in many cases, although there's still a lot of skepticism about it. And I just want to point out that only in the past couple of years have we had online students accepted into some top medical schools. And so barriers are beginning to come down. And I wouldn't want anyone to think that if you cannot attend a brick and mortar university, you're going to be shut out from opportunities. You have to be exactly like Rehab and Jeffrey are, persistent, and explain that it's a different modality, but the content, the faculty, the coursework, the degree, exactly the same as what the on-campus students got. So.
Thank you. And I do have a question, probably for Provost Gonzales. It's academic based. One resource I've made some use of in my time here at ASU Online was the earned admissions platform, even though I already was admitted, because it can be a way to get some other credits in a little bit of a different format. And there was another question that was asked by someone in the student community about how it might expand in the future, and what do you, where did the idea for this come from? And do you think that it will expand at ASU, and or the same idea carry over to other universities?
Well, it is a fabulous idea. And, you know, I know that we're often asked about it when we're asked to talk about the ASU experience. So I would hope it's something that would expand, because it really does give an on-ramp for people into their online experience. However, I have to admit that I can't take any credit for it. And so I'm actually going to pitch this one to Phil to answer in terms about, you know, who created it and what's the future of it, because I actually have to now go to the same place that President Crow just left to attend. Right. But it's been wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, and so I will talk about, you know, for those of you who may not be familiar, we do have a process called earned admission. And what earned admission allows people to do is, if they're over the age of 22, they have 4 courses, and maybe they are inadmissible. Maybe they've been, you know, they didn't have their entire life figured out when they were 20 years old. They went to a junior college, they dropped all their classes, they ended up with a 0.6 GPA. And now at a normal university, they would be inadmissible, even though they're 30 and they've matured and their prefrontal cortex is fully developed, right? And so what we did was we created some courses that we put on the edX platform. And at the time, those courses were called Global Freshman Academy. And what we allowed students to do was anybody in the world could take those courses for free. And if they passed the course with an A or a B or a C and they wanted credit, and they had signed up for the proctoring that was necessary to make sure the assessments were valid, they could purchase credit from ASU at a greatly reduced price. And I have to say, earned admission, only after we had put up the Global Freshman Academy courses was the idea of earned admission really hatched, because we had a student who had taken 5 of those courses, and she said, I got all A's, and I want to apply to the university. And when she did apply to the university, the story was exactly as I had said. She had a whole host of community college courses that she had taken 20 years previously and a very low GPA. And even the 5 A's didn't get her above the barrier. And we said, that's ridiculous. And so there are people who didn't graduate from high school. There are people who, as I say, didn't have their whole life figured out when they were 20 years old. Maybe they made mistakes in community colleges. There are people who don't know if they can attend a university or take a university class. And so we call them universal learner courses now, but those earned admission courses are available. You can access them. You can take one. You can find out if you can find out a little bit about the university experience. Now, they aren't the same, kind of rich experience that you have with other students and other faculty, but in terms of the content and the outcomes that you'll gain from the content, they're exactly the same. So thanks for the question, Jeffrey. It's interesting that you take some of those courses.
Yes, thank you so much. Particularly the maths. It's really nice for maths whenever you have the C session format, the ability to have access to the math course for an entire year.
Absolutely. No. And again, the nice thing about this is you can actually fail and take it again. And there's like very little risk associated with it. So it's good, particularly, I know math courses, it's horrible. The math courses tend to be ones that divert people from what they want to do. And as I said, we have a whole large project around Operation Math to make sure that people can overcome their math phobia and unlock whatever career they might want to do.
Thank you. Rehab, do you have another question?
Yeah, I guess we have covered it all. Let's hand it over to Miss Leah.
Yeah, I am again reviewing a little bit of the questions that are coming in with the Q&A and some of those other things. And, there are some questions about how our exams done, and we do proctor some exams, and other exams are done in a rigorous way that makes sure that a lot of quality is met and a lot of variety in those exams. So not all exams are proctored because there's other ways to control for that besides just proctoring. So just wanted to answer some of those questions for everyone. Go ahead, Phil.
I want to say something too, with online courses, we really try and move away from kind of 2 midterms and a final. What we try and do is have a whole set of assessments as you go through that not only help you master the material, but also kind of equalize the load across the entire term. Now, that's not true in all courses. If you're an engineer, you're still going to end up taking, having midterms and finals. But in many of the courses, you'll find that the high stakes exams are minimized, and we have many more smaller assessments along the way that actually help you learn the material while you're also being tested on it.
I have Leah,
go ahead,
I have another question, actually. What resources or what training is given to professors who work primarily with online students or who work with both online students and on-campus students? What's the type of support system that they have when transitioning to teaching in an online environment? And how are they trained to better work with us in this totally different world and projecting their own selves in a virtual environment?
That is a really good question. We do quite a bit working with faculty and academic units to prepare them for the online environment. We offer something called a masterclass that teaches them. We also have a slew of online materials to help people become familiar with teaching online, and that's actually open to the public, something we really promoted during COVID, which is teachonline.asu.edu. And so we also assign them instructional designers who will help them walk through the process, train them on how to do it, and make sure they're successful. We also have quality assurance people who work on ongoingly checking the classes, helping faculty sort of make sure their syllabus is posted and all of those things. So there's quite a bit out there from teaching them. And it's actually been a great experience because, it's very humbling to take your first online class. You have to really be on it. Phil had an experience when he went through the training to become an online teacher. Like, you have to carve out time, right? We always say time management is a big deal. And this is a great way for faculty to learn. This is why you have to set clear expectations, deadlines in the syllabus ahead of time, so students can prepare and plan their time appropriately to get through these classes in 7.5 weeks. So there's nothing like teaching faculty, as in putting them in the same environment that online students are going to have. That served us very well.
That's exactly what the master course does. It makes the faculty online students, and as a result, they're much more empathetic. They have a much better understanding of deadlines and timelines and everything else. And it's been very, very effective. We've put over 2,400 faculty through that master course right now.
A good bit of digital ethnography, learning by doing.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
The last thing that I want to point out, just a quick logistical thing, as I'm seeing a couple questions about how can I get my transcripts in and do you accept credit from prior institutions? We do have quite a few articulation agreements with many thousands of institutions. And so you can actually see how your credits will transfer through our transfer.asu.edu website. But probably the fastest way is to go ahead and start working with an enrollment counselor, and we will help get you in touch with the right people to make sure that your courses, we get as much credit in as we can at the university, but we absolutely take transfer credit at the university. We want to make sure that you're as successful as possible to getting to that degree point. Okay. Whew, we have gone through a lot of questions, and Rehab and Jeffrey, I can't thank you enough. You have done an amazing job. Any words of wisdom or advice to students who are thinking of coming into an online program? Since both of you are getting close to graduation, anything for those who are starting their journey and are already feeling, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot?
Yeah, I can comment on that. So my advice is to never hesitate. Just do it. You will mature to a great extent professionally and academically. And you will find the ultimate support from the ASU team. So never feel like you're worried you are gonna be online, so you will not be in a good interaction with the staff. Just, these are not like things to worry about at all.
Make the most of your situation. You are a student. Don't be afraid to reach out to professors. If you enjoy a class, you enjoy a topic a lot, go to the office hours, try and set up an individualized instruction course, meet with them over Zoom, get really nice specialized knowledge. And you'll need this interaction for whenever you're asking for recommendation letters when you apply to grad school, or if you're going to an educational experience, you're applying for a job that requires a letter from a professor. Make sure you have these interactions with your professors. And if you have the experience to leave the US while doing your education, do it. Global perspectives on education are very important, and you learn a lot whenever you're traveling, and you learn how to apply what you're learning when you're traveling. Just make the most out of the experience. Live it to its fullest. And also use the library. It's my favorite resource for an online student, the lib.asu.edu. You have access to a very large database of academic articles, lots through your ASU login, ASU One login. And there are plenty of extensions for Safari, Google Chrome and such where you can stay logged in. You go on Google, you pull up an academic article for your research, and it'll automatically direct you to the university logged in access to that article. It's all amazing.
We have integrated the library tremendously for online students. I think more people use the online services of the library than go back into the physical space. And you mentioned going abroad. ASU Online students can do any of the study abroad options that are offered through ASU, and they actually are a huge part. Many, many online students take advantage. And going abroad doesn't mean you have to go live abroad for a semester. We have 1 week, 2 week, 3 week programs if you're interested. I know that's a luxury many of us can only dream of. I know that's something I wish I had always had the opportunity to do, but if you get a week off, 2 weeks off, check it out. Why not? And oftentimes they're pretty affordable considering how much it takes to travel these days.
And once you're in Europe, transport is really cheap. You have budget airlines, trains, buses. You can stay longer, hop over. I went from Germany to Poland for $5 one time.
Not hitchhiking.
Not hitchhiking. That was a
okay,
direct
just
flight.
to clarify. Okay. So much fun talking to you guys. We really appreciate it. And to the hundreds and hundreds of you who joined in, your wonderful questions. And I want to say another shout out, thanks to the staff who helped answer those questions. You all make this such an amazing place to be, watching everyone succeed, get your degrees. It's just honestly my life mission, and I'm very honored to be a part of it. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you again for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone.